that was fast.
Wasn't that? Wow.
Yeah, I
I was
was like,
looking at you in the background saying, wasn't that faster? Why is that counting so quickly? I
that
think
was
the timer is off, right?
well. They say that time is no, it's moving slower.
Time
No,
doesn't wait
fast,
for anybody,
fast.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Time doesn't wait for anybody. And that's like it's it's amazing whenever um you think about words, right? Words change us. So if we were to read like something from Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace, it says the two most powerful warriors are patience and time. That relates to time. And then another good one is time isn't the main thing, it's the only thing. And that was by Miles Davis. You know.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I mean, and then another one is time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you've lost it, you can never get it back.
Never,
Yeah,
never get it.
never ever get it back, right? And then another one, right, is time is what we want most, but what we use worst, right? And that was by
Oh
William
man.
Penn, And of course, the simplest one is
Who was
one
that with?
day. That one
You said
was William Penn. William Penn.
William Penn. Okay.
Yeah, and then the one simple one is one day at a time, right? Just one day at a time. And you can only nowadays, like, aren't we having that variant D again, right? And we're having
Yeah.
like all these things, and variant D just happens to be what's going on, but we also have Afghanistan, right?
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Isn't that on like everywhere you turn, right? That's the main
Yeah.
thing, right? We lost Afghanistan, right? And
What
then
we what Haiti had.
yeah,
We were just with Haiti, and then it went to Afghanistan. So yeah, it's a lot going on right now.
I'm gonna have a dinner party one night, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna invite all these guests, and then I'll have like, what kind of steak do you like? You like ribeye, or do
I
you like
I don't eat red meat, doctors.
right, right? But you imagine if well, we'll just put it there for the guests, right? So it's
Yeah.
like,
So let's
yeah.
let's make it a T-bone. I used to like
Oh,
T-bone
oh, you
steaks.
used to like T-bone. Okay, so we'll have T-bone, right? Have
Yeah.
T-bone, and we'll have porterhouse even, right? T-bone
Oh,
porterhouse, right? Which is
that's
like
nice.
thicker, right? Okay, so for those of you who still eat meat, I eat meat, so put it there, right? We'll have ribs, right? We'll have T-bone porterhouse. We'll have chicken, right? For those meat eaters out there, and then for you vegetarians, are you vegetarian or are you
So no,
vegan?
I eat seafood. I eat
Oh,
salmon.
okay. Oh, all
Yeah.
right. So you know what we're gonna have? We're gonna have an entire fillet of king salmon, on
Ooh,
cedar plank, right, with
Peter plank.
rosemary, right. We'll put that right out there. Two slabs, right? One slab of fillet king salmon, and we'll have another one, which is sockeye. We'll do it side by side, right?
Ah,
All right.
yeah.
And then the other thing we'll have is we'll have we'll have like this entire display of Alaskan king crab with lobsters on the side.
Ooh.
Lobsters on the side,
There we
right?
go.
Okay,
Yeah.
lobsters, okay. And then we'll have
I'm
clams
locked
with
in for the steak.
linguine. We'll have clams with linguine, all right? We must have
Okay.
all this for our guests, right? All right. And
Uh-huh.
and then what we'll have is you like shrimp and you like crawfish, so we'll have that too, right? And we'll have
Okay.
that too. All right, so we'll have that. And then we'll have for the vegetarians, we'll have all kinds of vegetables like eggplant, tomatoes, all wonderful things, right? Salads. And then for a
Fruit.
vegan, we'll have things for vegans. And then for dessert, you know what we're going to have for dessert? We're going to have cockroaches. We're going to have ants. We're going to have honey roasted, by the way. Honey roasted, right? We're going to have that,
No,
right? All right. All right. And then you know what I'm going to have
I heard
is
good though.
right, and then we don't unveil dessert until everyone's sat down, right, seated, and I unveil dessert, right, and then everyone's shocked, like you made that facial expression. It's shock and awe, right, and you say like, "What the?" He had this entire guided imagery, and
Right.
what happened, right?
Right.
And then I unleash 20, 40, 19 years from now. I don't care if you're a meat eater, carnivore. I don't care if you're an omnivore where you eat meat and vegetables, or you're an herbivore. You might just have dessert now because
That's
the
all that's
the
there,
the
right?
Statue of Liberty. Now imagine this: the Statue of Liberty is up to her knees in water, up to her knees. Statue of Liberty up to her knees in water, and then those fields with grains and grass. So the grassy fields are now barren, so we can't graze. And also,
Right.
that pasta, there's no pasta because there's no wheat fields, so those are gone too.
And this is in 2040, right?
2040, 19 years from now.
Okay.
So we're headed dead straight for that, unless you have this dinner tonight, this meal tonight, and you really do enjoy this, by the way. And then no one's going to touch the insects. And then I said, this is what we're going to have left: the insects for our protein, because we keep thinking that we have another planet to go to. You know,
Yeah.
we don't have another planet to go to, and we keep thinking like, we're on borrowed time, right? We were talking about time, and isn't this like shocking, right? But what we're talking about tonight is like one day at a time, right? We're going to get there. We'll get to 2040, and guaranteed,
Yeah.
you and I will be both 19 years older, and hopefully we've learned a thing or two. Now, I have right here. This
What
is
is that?
a resistance band, right?
Oh, a resistance band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
resistance band, right? And we know what these are, right? We stretch these things out, and if we stretch them out, then we have the resistance. We hold those muscles. We want to pick a band where we can hold the muscles there. But what band do we have for our face?
Ah.
Right? We don't have a band for our face, right? We just don't have any way to exercise. Now we also have this. This is a vibrating device, right? For like those Theraguns and things like that. You have the ones that are
Right.
triangles. I got two of them here, right? And you could
Yeah.
really,
Listen.
yeah, these are good, right? And then you could
Yeah.
change
My
the heads,
chiropractor. Mm-hmm.
right? Now, which one do we have for the face? Right?
Oh, there's
We don't
one
have
for
one. We don't have one for the face, because if you put this thing on your face, right, it's gonna hurt, and it may make you look old, right? So the thing that we have, the one thing we have, we can keep it cold, right, is these stone rollers, right? That you can do. You can. And I know you have one, or
Yeah,
you
I
may
have
have more than
yeah,
one.
mine is in my restroom. It's
That's
yeah.
fine. We've seen you on the show before doing this, right? Okay,
Yeah.
and
I
this
have
is
an
good for
ice
the
one.
skin,
I have a
right?
steel one. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've been using this, all these years, and it's important to do that. But let's do something even more, right? If we could do more to our face, right? So one of the things that happens is we tend to have these lines here, right? These lines.
Yeah.
If we were to want to get rid of those lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do
Expand my
that,
face.
right? You expand the face when you start moving it from left to right. And that's kind of hard to do. Like if I had to do that for 10 minutes, it would be a very boring show. So, right. So what happens is if you're having a hard time entertaining by doing this exercise, even for yourself, right? What you have to do is you need to, when you're doing these things, you have to use guided music, right? You have to do guided music, and then you have to observe how other people sing and imagine the resistance. So I'm going to pick a song right here, okay? And the
Okay.
song is let's pick "Fly Me to the Moon," because this one,
Okay.
it's like really, you're going to open your mouth. So fly, right? You're going to say fly me to the moon, right?
Bye.
Fly me to the moon. So when you do it, right, you want to make sure that you're using vibration. So fly me to the moon, right? So it's going to look very strange, right? Forget about looking strange or meeting anybody. I'll do this for you. But when you're
Don't
doing
worry.
this, right? Yeah, you're just going to like pretend that nobody is out there, right? Nobody's
Right.
out
At
there,
all.
because nobody's really out there. We're pretending. This is not even being broadcasted, right? You've never
Nope.
seen me do this, but I'm doing this for you, right? You
Yes.
want to get into that song. You want to use guided songs, and you want, when you're singing this, right? When you sing "Fly," you want to use resistance, right? Remember that resistance band. So if we could do this, fly, and then at the same time you're focusing on these muscles here, fly, right? And then what you want to do is you want to vibrate and you want to focus on those muscles here.
Mm-hmm.
Fly me to the moon. All right, really emotional, right? Get in there and then let me play among the stars. Right? So very much very deeply involved with that and focus on those facial muscles because as you do that resistant band concept, right? You're stretching it out and you're holding it there, right? You're holding it there, making sure
Right.
this is nice and long. You're holding it there and then you're releasing, right? You're holding it there and then
Ah,
you're releasing,
really good.
right? That's what you're doing
Yeah.
inside of these muscles, right? Right here,
Right.
okay? Right? So that you can practice that and make sure because you're never exercising these, you're never very focused on it, right? And
Right. Right.
and so when you use a song, you can really get engaged and the time will be just like when you had that, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, it just flies through, right? Okay, so we're gonna fly me to the moon, right? So
Yes.
fly me to the
Am I
moon.
supposed to be singing this
Right?
with you?
Yeah, you can enjoy this because I'm making,
I'm
I mean, I'm
I'm
done,
ready.
right? Once I do this, right? I don't think I can go out there anymore, It's like, right? So, right, so here we go, right? So, you ready? All right. So, you
Yeah.
got this imagery, right? So, here we are. Fly me
Me
to
to
the
the moon.
moon. All right. Again,
Okay.
let
Let
me
me play
play among
among
the
the stars.
stars. All right. Let me see what
See what it's
spring is
like.
like on a
Yeah, these
Jupiter
facial
and
muscles are tiring.
Mars. Right. Yeah, exactly. Because you're never focused on it so much, right? You're never
Right.
focused on it so much. And that this time you're very focused. Let's switch to something like a gospel-y, right? So we'll do Amazing Grace, right? So here you
Uh-huh.
go. So in Amazing Grace, you're going to do Amazing Grace, right? So you're going to really use this. So you
Yeah.
want to get into it. I mean, because you're thinking about how amazing, right? So Amazing Grace,
How
how sweet
sweet the
the
sound.
sound,
Yeah,
right?
it's
So you're
different.
really like you're stretching this out, right? And I use the band there to
Yeah.
highlight for people, right? So when they're looking in, how sweet this because you want to be very focused on this, but you also want to be focused right here, right? So that when you're stretching, right, when you're getting into it, you're doing those resistance. Every muscle on your face is resisting.
Hmm.
So right? And sometimes you could do it right where you're tilting your head and you're stretching it this way, right? All right,
Hmm.
that saved a wretch like me. All right, so when you do that, right, then what happens is you're
You
stretching
can
out
feel
these
it
muscles.
all down
Yeah,
here.
all right, and you're going to do it on this side, right? I once
Once
was
was
lost. Right? So that's you're using that vibration and you're stretching out the muscles,
yes.
right? And never have you done this to
So
yourself. Now you should be breaking out in a sweat. Like if you
I
look at my
am. I'm
right, if
sweating.
you look at my hands, right, I have like I am like I'm like sweating, right?
Yes.
You should be burning calories, right? You can be burning calories, right? And
Yes.
that is how it's done, right? And so I'll pick another one. This one is Elvis, right? It says it's like this. It's I can't help falling in love, right? So um, wise men say. Remember the
Um,
stretch, right?
that's
Right?
that's intense.
Only fools rush in. You're stretching, right? You're stretching, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't help. Now, when you're doing this, right, stretch here too, right? Help falling in love with you. So when you do that, right, you are really exercising, and you should be breaking out a sweat, and it's very healing when you do that,
Yes.
right? And you're using these guided songs so that you're not. This is not an entertainment. This is an
No.
exercise, right, for the
Right.
facial muscles, using classical songs so that you can be lost in there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's
And you can pick different
important.
phrases. It doesn't have to be right the same song throughout. It doesn't have to be like that. But when you practice more and you think more and you do that, that's where you get this ultimate healing, right? Ultimate healing of the different muscles, because
Right.
it's very, very focused, and you're using that vibrato, and you're using that song to lose time. So when you go to that phrase, like a river flows. Now, flows, you're flowing, and you're thinking about the guy. Think about all these muscles when it's pulled out there, like a river flows. Right. So your flows, and you're really holding this right there, right, flows surely to, not surely like this, surely. So when you do this, right, you're pulling the muscles back here, so you're also exercising these,
Right.
surely to the sea, right? So when you do that, you're stretching out these muscles here as well, right? You
Okay.
know,
Hmm.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then you can massage them, right? Surely to the sea, and you can put your hands right here, and you can feel when you do this, surely to the sea, and then you can feel, you're right, the temporal mandibular area, right,
All right
really
there.
stretched out right
Mhm.
there. Yeah, that's right, really good. And that is very healing, because when we go through
Yeah.
a day, you know what happens is, we over the years, or what we do is, we're just, all right, we're
That's it.
probably during COVID, we're probably like watching television, right, and then we're just, and
Right.
then and then what happens is, our jaws get loose and lazy, and our eyes get sagged. All right, and we're like this. All right, and
Right.
if you start looking at some Bell's palsy pictures, right,
Yeah.
you'll see that. All right,
Exactly. The
yeah.
sagging of
And
the
then
face.
guess what happens when you get older? As you get older, you're just going to be, all right, and then guess you're going to look aged and older. Don't do that. Don't do that. And
Right.
the research shows that when you use guided songs to actually focus on certain areas. We talked about the thumb before with Bill
Mm-hmm.
Cobbs, right?
Talked
Now
about
we're
the
talking about the face.
inside kidneys, like function, singing
Yeah.
to them.
And if it
Mhm.
was, and if it wasn't working, I wouldn't be dripping, right? I wouldn't be
Right.
dripping. Right? I'm like dripping. I'm totally wet. You and I, we're like sweating here,
Yeah,
because
I'm
when you
literally.
right? Did you feel it? Right? Did you feel that? You
Oh, I
felt
was
that, right?
hot. Yes, I was
Yeah.
sweating. I had to push my hair over. I'm like, okay, this
All
is
right.
kind of
Now,
getting
now,
eyes.
how often when you're working out, or doing something, you might not break out in
Mhm.
sweat, and you're saying, like, what's wrong with this, right? We've all had this moment before, where we're doing something because we do it so often, right? That our body adjusts, and we're not breaking out of sweat. It's not responding. It's not working, and then eventually it happens, right? If you stay there long enough, but with a
Yeah,
song, look
right.
how quickly. This wasn't like
Yeah,
some rock song, right? By the way,
right.
this is slow
Yeah,
tempo stuff, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and
Gospel
yeah,
love. Yeah, and it was
yeah.
the intensity.
It was the
Yes.
intensity. You got to be focused, and by me holding this resistance band to show everyone, right? I showed you how we're basically stretching out, and we're holding that. It's not going to look good, right? I haven't looked at myself what happened, but I'm sure it didn't look good, right? But it's not about looking good. It was about
Right.
teaching you the system of every one of these muscles. Like, if you don't want your eyes to sag, right, because your eyes are going to
Right.
sag, you gotta take those the orbiculus oculi, this muscle here, and you gotta think about what happens, right? You gotta close your eyes, and then you do resistance here, right? Resistance here, and you're holding the resistance, right? And then
Hmm.
you're relaxing. You're holding the resistance, and you're relaxing. So if I lowered my glasses, it'd be holding the resistance, and then I'm relaxing here. I'm also doing this, keeping my forehead down, and I'm relaxing down. I'm relaxing. I'm doing that, but then without the music, it doesn't speak to the muscles. It doesn't speak to the cells. So you really want to be very much focused on the song, good
Right.
lyrics, and then that they're distracting, and then you're so focused in that now you don't want to do something where like it's a breakup song or something like that, especially if you've broken up
So
because
you want vibration.
no,
Is it the vibration? It's the vibration of the words and how you
and
sing.
you want to be able to lose yourself in because when you think about the fly me to the moon, right, it's a very
Yeah.
upbeat song, right, and so when you're saying fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars, let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. And and then when you do that, right, you don't have to do the whole thing. When you do that, you
Right.
lose yourself in the muscles, and you're thinking about the whole muscle itself, but you're also thinking the individual fibers. And then if you have, you go online and you find a picture, like I have these here, but this is the world's best anatomical charts, right? So this one, you're actually right here. You're actually focused
Oh
on,
yeah.
right, all
Mm-hmm.
these muscles in there, and that's what's going on. So don't think too deep, because if you think too deep, you're thinking the skeleton here. So don't think of the skeleton.
Right.
You want to
You
go
want
right to the
top.
muscle, right? The muscle, right? The guy in the middle, right? And you want to think about how these muscles work, right? And that affected healing, right, is what
Yeah.
a lot of this space age, medicines and things like that. They're talking about, how can we do low cost healing? That's low
Mm-hmm.
cost healing. That's not like hypnotism where where it's a difference between if you were to go to um, a chiropractor, they'll do
Mm-hmm.
rock rock and then you'll be done,
Right.
right? So that's fast, right? 5 minutes and then your endorphins are. We're not doing that, right? This is not the 5 minute thing, and it certainly isn't a massage, right? If you go to a
Right.
massage, you're totally relaxed. No, this is physical therapy. This one is where you are actually doing these exercises, right? You do the exercises right, and you're doing something good for yourself. You're increasing the blood flow, but you're also focusing your mental energy around the song and using the vibrato. It's got to be a vibrato. It needs to be your own voice, and that is the key to this whole discovery that I've been doing all these now. Now imagine if you did Benny King "Stand by Me." Let's see what happens there, right? So
That's
that's an odd one, right? So it says when the night has come and the land is dark, right? So when the night has come and the land
the land.
is dark, right? So I want to make sure you do that vibrato, right? Do that,
Yeah.
right? Do that vibrato when the land is dark, right? And then you want to focus on those muscles, and whenever you're opening your mouth, do the resistance, right? Do the
Yeah.
resistance. Like if I do, and I want to have my resistance now. My tongue, I want my
Mhm.
tongue up as much as I can, up.
Okay.
All
Mm-hmm.
right, I want it up. I don't
At the
want it
top of
down.
the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, at the
Okay.
roof of your mouth, right? And this is the combination of Dr. Mew's mewing technique, right? You guys can look up mewing. You can change your facial features. Mewing, like MEWING.
Okay.
All right, and he's a personal friend. All right, you do this mewing, and you're pushing this so that your facial features, right, are good. And yes, exactly, mewing, right. And then so Doctor Mew and mewing, and what happens is when you're doing this, you're pushing it up there so that when you're closing your mouth and just resting, say you're standing in line or something, you're doing this
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to dropping your tongue, right, like this. Don't leave your mouth open.
Right.
Right? It's not. It's about right because you're going there anyway. We're all heading down this. All right, we're all
Yeah.
heading like that, like that. We don't
Yeah.
want to be like that. We don't want to droop our face. We want to like, why we pick love songs and happy songs about this is because guess what happens when you're singing? You're really like everybody loves a good smile, right? So
Yeah.
right, but now when we're exercising, we want to go in the extreme, right? Extreme,
Yeah.
like you're not gonna be looking like this outside, but when you practice those muscles, right, Your muscles, you're really focusing right on the skin tone and the muscles, so that when you're just regularly, you're gonna have a pleasant feeling about you, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you let out those emotions, right, and they're positive emotions, and you're healing the face, your facial features are a reflection of what normally you're like. So
Yeah.
when you practice, right? We all know this. This is not something I'm telling you. You
Yeah.
know
This
that
is
it's
not
like, yeah, it's not rocket science, right? This is not
right.
unheard of. Oh, you got to do something totally out of. No, it makes sense. It's logical. But what you got to do is you got to use music to enhance that. And remember, it's not you're not standing on stage entertaining. You are doing this with and you could be nobody else in the room, or you could bring a whole
Yeah.
crowd to do it with you, right? But you are practicing, these facial movements, right? And then you want to do resistance. You're basically resisting these areas, and then when you do that, you actually end up looking younger. Yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah,
right.
absolutely. You
Yeah, I
know,
mean, I'm convincing because people tell me that I look younger, right? But I've been doing these types of practices, right, for a long time,
yeah,
and looking at that research, right, of why our cells fail us. We don't talk to ourselves,
right.
and the time we do talk to ourselves, when it's like there's enough vibrations, is when because we're angry,
It's
is
Matt.
because
Yeah.
we're upset, right? And then every cell hears you. Every cell hears you. But when have you sang to your own selves,
You
right?
know, I listen to a lot of like I
Hmm.
had said this before, like a lot of different like hertz music that's for skin regeneration and
Hmm.
cell regeneration and like that speaks directly, to our DNA and things of that nature. So, I've been doing that for years too. So that makes sense. I mean, I was thinking of it for a whole wellness, but it is a
Hmm.
wellness of, your appearance and things of that nature too. So,
Yeah, I mean, you think about how oftentimes our muscles go out of balance, our
yeah.
cells go out of balance. Our cells don't always listen to us over time. I mean, they have been listening to us when we're first born, and we heal so fast when we're young, right?
Yeah.
And when we're teenagers, we're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Why are we beautiful? Because you can see in someone's eyes, you can see they've got life, they've got their whole life ahead of them, right? And
Right.
then, right, and then as you get older, we do things that are just not for ourselves anymore. We're constantly chasing something, right? Whatever it is, some imaginary thing. It's always been like that for generations, and we got to focus back into ourselves and start thinking, all right, if I can sing a happy song, right, and a great song, and then bring that back into my facial expressions, that actually changes. So have you
Mhm.
heard of people when they read someone's handwriting and you can actually read their weaknesses? For example, if you do a D and the
Yeah.
loop isn't closed,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
But then
Yes.
what happens when you practice your handwriting? So you write that nice D, right? So that the loop is a nice loop
Right.
and there is a loop there. Well, you change your capability. You change
Mhm.
your capability. You become a better person as you improve that handwriting. So same thing here is when you take that facial expression and you improve
Mhm.
upon it. Now, different people have different responses. Some people will be sneezing and running, their nose will be running because they become allergenic, or they're
Right.
expressing things, right? All kinds of things start coming out. And that's okay. That is
Right.
okay. That is normal. That is normal.
Yeah. You're
Now, the
supposed
other
to
thing is
go ahead.
I teach people you gotta scratch the surface of your palate
Oh.
with your tongue.
Okay. So, what does that do?
Well, that increases blood flow.
So, what exactly are you? You're scratching the palate.
Yeah, so on the surface of the roof of your mouth, you're using your tongue
Mhm.
to like go like this. All right, so you're
Oh.
you're you're buckling. So you're
This
doing that.
increases blood flow.
You're increasing blood flow. You're
Oh
increasing
wow.
blood flow. Now, another thing you could do, right, is you could use your lips and increase blood flow. right? So I'm gonna do something here, right? With Stand By Me again, right? And then this time we're gonna
Okay.
do this.
Oh.
So when you're vibrating, right? You're vibrating, you're changing
Yeah.
the blood flow of this area, right? And then, right, so you see that this whole area is now kind of like there's a lot of blood there. Now we do it again, and we do when the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. So when so we did the resistance, right? We did the resistance
Right.
where we're holding it back, and we were able to hit those notes. And when we
Mm-hmm.
now reapply it to the same area where the blood flow came, it's ready. The cells are ready, right? And
Oh.
that's something that you could do right around the surface of your mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now we'll do it with Amazing Grace. We'll do it with. All right, so now we know that we've done an imprint here, right, with those sounds, right? And now
Yeah.
we'll do it. Oh, and remember it's vibrato, right? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. So now you see, like you're very focused, and I'm not even looking at the screen because if I see
Yeah.
myself,
This
you
I
know
love this. No, it's because I know this is like that like it's has a
that
lot of
thing, right? We're doing, let's just call it
yeah.
the
That's a lot
doing
of
that
energy.
the the right, the right. So yeah, but have you done the before we
Oh
met?
yeah. To
You do it
kids.
all the time,
Yeah,
right? So yeah,
yeah. I have a
right.
goddaughter. I do that to her all the time.
Yes. So I used to do this before
That's
all of
fun.
my talks. All of my public talks, I would do this
Oh,
because it would help me, get in the mood.
yeah.
I would totally ignore, right, whatever's going on there, whether it was in Chinese, whether it was English. I would TED talks. I would do the right, and then
Right.
by doing the I would my speech, right, and then it would be. This is a big secret. No one knew this. That you do the right, so you gotta do the when you do the everything just comes out so much better.
That makes sense. So you
Yeah,
would do this before your speech,
absolutely.
and then you would go into your
I would go
speeches.
right into the speech, right? Okay. Yeah.
Would you do it to the audience to like break ice or anything? Or
No, no one's ever seen me do this, right? Other
okay,
than, my wife and my
right.
children. They know I do the right. So I always do this because I want to be totally relaxed. I wanted to come out right here. I don't see if you're tight here, you can't do the right
That's
because it just doesn't
true.
work, right? Yeah, so you're just going to do, whatever. Fire me. All right, whatever. Right. So if you
Right,
do this, right, you're doing this for yourself, right? Yeah.
right.
So it's like do the twist. You're going to do the right. So that will give you the that will just give you that will just see. There's a saying that when you are like a narcissist, okay, you want people to listen to you. So you want
Mm-hmm.
you want power here, but when you do the all right, there's no narcissist anymore. There's
Yeah,
no
that's
ego.
all.
You
Yeah,
you just lost everything. All ego is gone, right? Imagine if you taught kids that way, right? And you said, right. So now, like you're at the same level as them, right? Right. You're at the same
basically.
level, right? Yeah, that's right. You're a
That's the
3 year old.
relation.
That's
Right.
right. And that's how you want to have total
That's
relaxation, right? And
yeah.
you want to bring in those sounds, and you want to just when you do that, you can truly be flown to the moon, right? You're
Mm.
going to the moon. You're gone, right? And I want people to know, like That's how you change your cellular structure, and that's young living, right? You're going to feel that energy. That's what it's
Right.
about, right? Forget about like who's looking and watching, right?
Yeah.
You want to do those like the neck movements. So here's another one,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right? So
Oh
you're gonna
yeah.
stretch, right? You're gonna stretch now. We're stretched out there, right? And then you do this, right? Okay, you do this. You're stretched up, right?
Oh.
And I love you so,
Oh, you
right?
sing. Yeah.
The people ask me how, right? All right. Okay. How I live till now, I tell them I don't know, right? So you just kind of do that, right? Okay.
A lot of
Yeah.
opera singers sing like they have to expand their neck
Uh-huh.
when they. Yeah. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. And
Right?
they have vibrato. What is it called? Vibrato.
The vibrato, yeah, the vibrato.
They have. Yeah.
They got to do the vibrato, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you do that, right, you really stretch out the neck, right? All right, and then you come back in. But when you're singing it, right, you're forcing these muscles to have the resistance we're talking about because you gotta sing it, right? And we're singing
Right.
it, you're doing that resistance automatically.
I'm going to sing one.
Yeah, please.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Did I do it right?
Yeah, right. So yeah, so
Making sure
so so we want to
so
do
I can
the
practice.
we want to do the right. So we want to do the first, right? So we're gonna
Yeah, that's hard.
right now that's hard, right? Because you're stretched out. You're doing this, right? Now we'll do this. Amazing grace,
Yes.
how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Right. So now you're going to let those muscles. You're resisting because if you don't resist, it all
Okay.
falls apart. Right. It's hard to do this without actually resisting. And notice I'm seated here, but I'm breaking out a sweat. I am
Yeah,
breaking out a sweat.
I
Right.
am.
Yeah. Right. I am just like soaked because the amount of calories you're going to. People have said what I've discovered here, and that's not a really discovery because I see birds do this all the time, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, the birds do it all the time.
all the time. Turning
Roosters,
their head. Yep.
when a rooster cockle doodles doos, it actually stretches, right? And it stretches up here and it does this, right? And it releases all this, right? And unleashes, and you
Right.
want to roll your shoulders back and then drop it, right? And when you do this, you're gonna think and grow tall, right? And you're gonna do this, and then you're gonna stretch out your neck, right? And here we go, right? Okay, and then you're gonna do that, that, right? And you're gonna practice that first, and
Hmm.
now you're gonna sing that song, and you're gonna use vibrato. You are going to sing or speak like this, right? So yeah, that's exactly what you're gonna do. Yeah.
That's perfect. I hope everybody out there practice this because this is some good stuff.
Well, once they do this, if they follow this video exactly, they will feel that sweat. They will feel it.
Yes.
Yeah, they will
Truly.
feel it. Now the
Truly.
other side, right? Because we're stretched this way. The other side is stretching it down this way, right? Down
Oh,
this way from
damn.
the neck, right? The other way,
Mhm.
right? Okay. Now we can't see me on the screen though, right? So you
Right.
can't see me on the screen, but I'm going to be doing this, right?
Hmm.
And then what you want to do, right? You want to just do the right. So we're gonna do stand by me. All right, so I did the now, right? Okay. All right, so now we're gonna now sing that. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. Right? So you felt it? You felt
Yes.
it? Was it funny? I mean, it was like, how did it sound, right? But it
Yes.
helped. It didn't. It doesn't matter how it sounds. It's about
It went all
the
like
neck
up in
here, the
here.
neck here, right? You felt it, right? It was right here, right? And you were doing this. Since when do you do that for your neck?
Never.
Never, right? Now, the funny one will be when you tilt your head and do this, right? Because the one in the front and the back. Now, you do this to your side, right? And then and you do this. Let me pull up a different one, right? So this one will be funny, right? Killing me softly, right? Okay,
Oh,
so killing me softly, right? You can do this too, right? This is more of a '60s, right? And we'll pull up Roberta Flack, right? Again, and then we're gonna do the right. So right? So we did this, right? Now, strumming my pain with his fingers. Yeah, you can have this stretched a little bit more, right? And then you go singing my life with his words,
oh
right?
wow.
Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
So you do you feel it, right? You feel it on the side
I
of your
think
neck, and it's totally
I wasn't singing, but I was definitely when I was
right.
yes.
Yeah,
It was different.
you were feeling it. Okay, so now we do the other side, right? Otherwise, we're tilted, right? We do it on this side, right? Okay, we're gonna do it again. All right. Okay. So now, I mean, you can see I practice, right? So I can. What
Yeah.
I do, it looks easy, right? You must do this all the time. You're thinking, like, right? So here we go. Strumming my pain with his fingers, sing my life with his words, killing me softly with his
His
song,
song
killing
kills
me softly
me.
with his song. All
Oh
right,
my God.
so yeah, right. What did you feel? Tell me what you felt.
For one, I'm hot.
You're hot, right? Oh my gosh, I made you hot, right? Now
Right.
I'm in
So
trouble,
I
right?
broke a sweat. This is
Right.
too much. I was not planning on working out, guys. But no, it was a stretch. Especially, I felt it over here as well.
Hmm.
And then just coming back here, and then like within like my mouth too. So
So
singing.
yeah, so you felt all of this,
Uh,
right,
mhm.
throughout, right? And that is the power of the like. There's nothing more convincing about music and vibrations and vibrato than
Yeah.
doing something like this, right? This is
Yes.
when I talked about it in different shows and briefly, but when you do something like this, you're like, all right, I'm sold. This stuff works, right?
Yeah.
There's
That
something happened, right?
this is
Yeah.
definitely low cost healing. So
Low cost healing, right? And it's like, yeah, you want to make sure when you do this, you drink quality liquids, right? And that could
yeah.
be water, but it also could be apple pectin. It could be apple pectin. And you know how you make apple pectin? You take the apples and you cut them up, and then you basically boil the apples in a minimal amount of water. Okay. And then you
Mhm.
let it turn to apple mush, right? Apple mush with some liquid underneath. And then you're going to gravity strain. You're going to gravity strain. After you've done the gravity strain, now do not press the gook that's on top and try to squeeze every last drop out. That's not the point. You're going to gravity drain. And what drains underneath is going to be apple prepectin. And then what you're going to do is you're going to now boil it. And when you boil it,
Oh.
the
So you
pectin
boil
comes together.
the residue that you get from the apple, and
Right.
then you say you boil it, and what else?
You boil the solution.
Uh huh.
Okay. So you boil the solution. Now, before you boil the solution, you're going to put it aside, right? You're going to be gravity draining it, right?
Okay.
Okay. You chop up the apples, you remove the core, you put it
Is there a
inside.
specific? Sorry, Dr. Chu. Is there a
Yeah.
specific apple?
Yes. See, this
Okay.
is why my host in Asia asked me. I got all these things in my head, but if you don't ask me, I forget to tell you. So
Yeah.
I am so glad. Like I don't know that you don't know, right? I'm just having conversation.
Right.
You
Right.
want to make sure it's green organic apples.
Okay.
Green apples. Now it's not going to be as fragrant as a Macintosh, but that's okay. The point is it's about getting the maximum amount of green apple pectin out, and you want organic because you don't want any pesticide. You're going to create this apple mush because you're gonna chop them up into quarters. You're gonna remove your core, and you're gonna make this, right, and you're gonna put it in a pot, and then you're gonna basically boil it for about half an hour, and it'll turn to mush, right? Maybe
Okay.
45 minutes. However you chopped up your apples, it'll turn to mush. You're gonna now let it cool a little bit, and then you're gonna pour it into a cheesecloth, right? And
Okay.
then through that cheesecloth, you're gonna gravity drain it. Gravity drain it.
Mm-hmm.
After it's gravity drained, or while it's gravity drained, it will be a while, by the way. It will not be like a 10-minute ordeal. It'll be a while, like
Okay.
hours. I'm talking about hours. While
Okay.
that's happening, you should be in a clean room when you do this. Um, you should take clove, organic clove that you pre-ordered. You should soak that. You should soak it, and it's called a decoction overnight. And it doesn't have to be like 24 hours, but you could soak it. When you're soaking it, you should boil it and then let it soak. Then you're going
Okay.
to strain out the clove, the actual cloves, those hard cloves. You're going to strain them out, and then you're going to have that liquid, right? That you're going to reboil again, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you're going to reboil that liquid in the presence of the apple, right? The apple
Oh. Uh-huh.
liquid, right? Now,
Yeah.
depending on how pure the clove liquid is, right? You may want to start boiling the apple liquid for the first hour and a half before you add the clove liquid in there, because the presence of any type of fibrous material will prevent the cross linking of the pectin. The pectin has to come together, it has to see each other, and the heating helps to do that, all right? And when you do that, you make the apple pectin from the apple
Mm-hmm.
prepectin that was from the filtered material, and now you have the apple pectin with clove in the final half an hour. Oftentimes, that's a better technique. You add it in the final half an hour, and you're continuously boiling it. You're boiling it to make sure that there are no things that could upset your stomach. You're cleaning it out, and you're
Right.
sterilizing it. But you're also creating that pectin. You're actually doing something. You're not just boiling for an hour and a half, 2 hours, right? So I tell people a 2 hour span or an hour and a half span, depending on when you add that clove in there. And then what you want to do is you want to take two um, soup spoonfuls, right, to three soup
Okay.
spoonfuls every day,
Okay.
and it has properties of helping with cholesterol. It's also part of a 4-part series to lose weight, all right.
Wow.
Weight loss and slimming, anti-aging. People have said their skin improves with this, right? You're basically highlighting the essence. Now, the goop that you filtered off, you can use that to make apple pie, the apple pie filling. All right,
Yeah.
all right. Now you want to have the skin as well, in that when you put the apples in there for the
Mm-hmm.
for the boiling, you want to have the skin in there as well, because that's what contains a lot of the vitamins and minerals and various things. So you
Right.
want to have it
Right.
all in there, right? The flavonoids, you want to have it all in there. But then when you do the straining, right, you want it to be pure liquid, right? Pure liquid that you're straining down. You drink
Right.
this. You drink this. That's the first week that you do this while you practice this music, right? Where we're doing these exercises, facial toning and all that. The
Yeah.
second week, you do the same thing I just described, but you're not going to use apples this time. You're going to use carrots. You're going to use
Oh.
carrots. All right. Now,
And it's the
the
same exact process.
right, and the pairing for the carrots will be using turmeric. So you're going to
Oh,
get a
to
fresh piece of turmeric, right? And
okay.
you're going to do this, right? And then you're going to make this carrot pectin, right? You're going to let it gravity strain. You're going to let that liquid be then combined with the turmeric, right? And then you're going to have carrot turmeric pectin, right? You're gonna have that as opposed to apple clove pectin, right? Instead of that, so these are very therapeutic. So the second week, you're gonna be drinking that, right? Now,
Yeah.
for the really the people who are really cleansing their bodies and doing this, they don't eat anything, right?
Oh, okay.
This serves as their liquid to heal the
Right.
body, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one you're gonna do is you're gonna use red beets. Okay.
I love these.
Yes, red beets. You're gonna do. Remember, all this is there's like the carrots and the beets. They're all roots, so you want to make sure they're
Right.
organic. And then
Yes.
you're going to combine that with the pairing is with either hawthorn, okay, hawthorn berries, right? You do that, organic hawthorn berries. You can do it with elderberries, right,
Okay.
for the
I just got
digestive. Yeah.
some.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And so you're going to do it with elderberries, right? And then when you do that, you're going to make beet elderberry pectin or beet hawthorn pectin. And then you're going to drink that. All right. And it's going to be very healing for the digestive system. All right,
Mm,
very healing for the digestion. The carrots will be
okay.
very good for your, your eyes and a
Right.
lot of things. Like it's just it's very neutralizing. Turmeric has plenty of uses, but you're now creating a therapeutic use. So week 1 is the apple. Week 2 is going to be your carrots. Week 3 you're going to be doing your beets. Just imagine how cleansing your digestive system will be. And then week number 4 you're going to use pumpkin. All right, and if you're a woman you're going to use red maca. So you're going to create pumpkin
Oh,
pectin and you're going to
okay.
use red maca with it, right? And you're going to create a red maca pumpkin pectin. Now, if you're a teenager, you could use yellow maca. If you're a male, right, you can use black maca with the pectin.
Okay.
And that will rev up the sex drive. That you will
Oh,
you yeah you will want to have like lots of and the
okay.
thing about sex, right,
Oh,
is
mm-hmm.
they say you should. There's songs that say save the best for last. They tell you to save. You cannot save sex. If you save your sex for like 30 years from now, I'll use it. Right? It's not the same, right? If you
It's
say,
not the
right, if you saved sex for 30 years later, it definitely is not, but you saved it for a long time, right? But it doesn't work
yeah.
the same. The body changes, right? Well, this maca, I guarantee you try this maca stuff, right? For the last thing you do, that's the 4th one you try, right? And then you will now for women, right? The red maca, very restorative, right? With the pumpkin pectin, right? 4 weeks of this, right? Now,
Okay.
after you
Four
do all that,
4 weeks of the pumpkin
no, no.
maca. Oh,
1 week of each
that's the
type of
fourth week.
pectin,
That's
right?
the fourth
Each
week.
each.
Right.
So you're going to do the fruit first, the apple.
Right.
Then you're going to do these other 3, right? These are the vegetable pectins,
Right.
and so you're going to be a 1 month into this, right? You have 1 month, and then after that, right? Some people do it in parallel, but I prefer to wait for the 5th week to start this, right? Is to create one with aloe. Right, so you're
Oh,
going to use
okay.
fresh aloe, right? You're going to do this.
I love
You're going to
aloe.
add vitamin B12 in there. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
add vitamin C from acerola cherries.
Okay.
And when you do that, right, when you make this aloe pectin, you have to use it in a pressure cooker. It doesn't
Okay.
work in a regular pot like the other pectins because the
Mm-hmm.
aloe has to be a higher temperature. And then you're not going to drink this. This is to create a spray that you're going to spray on your face, the back of your neck, your entire body. You may as well go nude and do this, right? And then you do that. Your skin will be like when you do this, it will be like the softness of eggshells. Like after you peel
Oh,
an egg, right? The egg
yeah.
white, it'll be that smooth. What happens is it'll close down, the pores of your skin.
Or, mm,
All right. If you were to try this, right, it's transformational. This is all based on research. So
okay.
this is not stuff that this is you do all 4 of these steps. You walk it out of that thing on the 5th week. You do that other thing. Now the 5th week, you're going to do that for an entire month, right? For 4
Mm-hmm.
more weeks. But you're done with your dieting, right? That you're done with that cleansing of 4 weeks. That 1 month cleansing followed by this, this type of spray. You're going to do
Right.
that for another month. So you're 2 months in, but you're done with you can go, you eat clean, right? And you will feel like you're renewed beyond when you're like, you will just feel tremendous.
Okay.
Yeah. I've given you the fountain of youth here tonight. Yeah.
Exactly. I was just about to say this is
Yeah.
truthfully a fountain of youth.
Yeah.
My
It's
birthday
it's
is in
free.
30 days. Yeah,
Wow.
I said I was going
Oh,
to do the big cleanse, so I'm gonna try this.
you do this, right? You will be I think the whole of Texas, right? Everybody will say you don't have to say anything. They'll say, Ebony,
Like,
what is happening? We have many women who've been doing this already over in Asia, and they have said like they just never have seen anything like this before. Right? It's all
Okay.
based on research of finding the true peak underneath, like your true self underneath this. Imagine if you
Right.
unleash your true, like where people like turn their heads and say, "Wow, that's like you're changed, you're different." Like how? What did you do? You do the practicing with the singing, right? You do this, right? You do that. Those the right. You do that. I guarantee you, you'll be like, this doesn't cost anything. You'll be totally different.
No, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Right.
That is
Amen.
so aw This has been an awesome show. We only have 5 minutes to go, and I feel like we've only been talking for like 15 minutes.
Really? Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like when we how many years have we been doing exercises and gyms and weights and all, and then
Right.
later on they came up with that resistance
Oh,
band, right? The resistance
yeah.
band. They didn't come out with this until much later, right? But
Yeah.
the
A lot
reality
later.
is they can't make one for the face.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
doesn't work that same way. And
Little
and and in the entirety of doing this, what do you do that moves the face so much? It's actually singing, right? It's
right.
lyrics. And you could lose yourself in lyrics. But you know what's used in gyms and when you're working out is you are listening to music. But it's very passive. You're not actively using the music to stimulate the cells. And that's the difference in this.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I'm
Yeah.
like, because music. A lot of like in the Black community, we are raised off of music, and we have music around us all of our lives, but
Hmm.
we don't use it specifically. So, like, we just use it to entertain and things of that nature instead of helping us heal. So this is
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
Oh, you
I love
liked it? Yeah. It wasn't it wasn't I don't know how entertaining it was, but it was just truthful. My
it.
goal
Well,
was to share
right.
the truth. Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, we only have 4 minutes left. I was sitting in for Daniel today, so I know
Yes.
he's traveling. He was here in Texas. I didn't get a chance to see him,
Hmm.
but yep, he had been here, and he'll be back next week. We'll be back here at the same time, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern. So, but this has been so fun. What are we going to talk about next week?
I don't know. I mean, I talk about all kinds of things. We talk about pain. We talk about
Yeah.
healing. We talk about sleep. But there's so many things around sleep, right? Including insomnia, but also
Right.
about sleep apnea, right?
Yeah. We
The
had.
singing. When you improve your throat, you improve the vibrations, right? A lot of that healing. There's also self healing when you lose enough weight. Sometimes the right way you can trigger the self healing mechanisms as well inside the body, right? And
Yeah.
there's a term called auto, and then phagy, right? So you're self digesting autophagy, right? So you're self digesting, right? Certain things, and if you do it the right way, now you don't want to self digest your bladder, right? Because then you're gonna urinate at night or other things like that.
Right.
So you want to make sure that your nutrients are high up there, right? The
Right.
proper nutrients are in your system, right? We talk about memories, like for example
Yeah.
tonight, what we did tonight, it's an unforgettable experiance. You will
Oh, it's
never you right?
unforgettable. Oh, yeah.
You'll
I'm gonna
remember
be
this.
practicing this. I'm gonna be like, "Amazing Grace," like stretching my neck and stuff. My kids gonna be like, "What is wrong?"
Right.
I can't wait.
Yeah, yeah, right. Could you imagine doing that as a family, right? Where you're like, there will be just no more barriers. You do
Right.
that in front of anybody, like you can become so much closer. Either that or
Yes,
they're gone. They're gone, right?
exactly.
They're gone, right?
Embrace my weirdness or go.
Right. Yeah. But
Yeah.
this is just very, very because I did it tonight, right? People
Yeah.
will now understand. Okay, if he can do it, right, then I can do it, right? If he didn't mind going there, you look at my TED talks, you look at my everything. You've never seen me do this in front of like,
Yep.
of course,
This is
yeah.
definitely.
So this is transformational for you guys, right? I do this for you. I don't do it for me. I do this all the time, but in my home and for my healing and for my speech, right? You do
Yes.
that, right? Your voice will project better, right? When
Yes.
you speak, it'll be softer, right? And then that is very, very powerful. you know. Yeah.
Dr. Chu, let me ask you something before we go.
Mm.
Are you bottling? Oops, I have this lighter. Are you? I was like my instant over here. Are you bottling that the pectin?
Yes, it's being created and manufactured, right?
Okay.
So over there now, I want to leave you guys with a simple, and I'd love to do that in the United States. We're not doing that here in the U.S., but you guys make it at home, right? Just use with
Yeah.
those recipes. Now,
Right.
what you should practice apple first. But before we hang up
Okay.
tonight, I want to leave you with this one song that will be very moving. I want you to do this, right? And it will
Mm-hmm.
be like it's the title is by Whitney. It was by Whitney Houston. It was One Moment in Time, right? So
Okay.
you want to do, and it says each day I live, I want to be a day to give the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone. My finest day is yet unknown, right? So we're
I
right?
don't
So
remember.
you want to do each day I live, I want to be a day to give the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone. My finest day is yet unknown. Right? So you want to have that vibrato. You want to think about this. And when you use these lyrics, right, it's talking about how you are going to have your best day. You haven't peaked. And when you
Yeah.
start thinking about you haven't peaked, wow, all right, I haven't peaked. And then in the chorus it says, I want one moment in time. I want one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be. When all of my dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Right? So then when you do that, right, you're thinking about all the cells, right? Just do that tonight, right? After we hang up, give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. So when you do that, right, your every cell is going to be focused on that. And this is a very interesting one for cancer, right? For
Mm.
cancer and for, when the cells start, disrupting and they're
Right.
dysfunctional, you want everybody aligned and you want to tell them, look, can we just do this one more time? One
Right.
more time where we are going to fight this last fight. We're going to stand
Right.
this last stand. I want you all together with me. Try it and see.
Okay.
Let us know how you feel. All right.
Yes, please
Yeah.
do. And you guys can
Yeah.
comment and and ask questions too, in our shows. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dr. Chu.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night. We'll see everybody next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.